So, of course, America is founded on security. Did our ancestors not leave a place where they felt insecure and suppressed?
Hmm.
Right. And so America is born under the sign of Cancer. Okay. Now, Jupiter is next to the sun here, which brings expansion in the character and optimism through nurturing a new foundation.
Hmm.
And add Venus to it here to bring the sweetness of how strong a foundation can be. Okay, that is built on family values. Now, America not built on family values?
Right?
So Cancer is the sign of the mother. Is America not has not tried to be the mother of the whole world?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And all of these planets sit in the relationship house. So it's about how America relates.
Mhm.
Okay. And we also see Mars here. And America is a multitasker that has to weigh all kinds of odds of things and relationships diplomatically. And America also has got in between a lot of conflicts for reasons of their own versus reasons that they told us. And maybe there were other reasons, okay, and stuff like that. Because, I think that we can all start to really look at the history that the corporations have been part of all of it, part of the wars, part of all of it. And, it's time for the people to really understand what's been happening. And we lived in a different world before. We're coming into a world where technology is going to change things.
Hmm.
And it already is. It's already changing things. And of course, we could be, of course, completely subdued by this technology. But I'm pretty sure there's way more of us than there is of them ultimately. And every
Absolutely.
revolution has that quality in it. Okay. Right. Not that I'm, headed out to be revolutionary. Okay. You know, so that's America's character. It's expansive, it's relating. You can do better, you can create a better foundation, and that's how we want to come off to the world, right?
And Fortuna, so this we're talking the seventh and the eighth houses here. If anybody's not familiar with these, that's also in Cancer. Does that play a role in this? That they have to be in touch with their emotions to actually reach?
So America is neurotic.
Yes.
Okay. Americans
Mm.
may be a little neurotic also. Okay. So I think they have promoted a culture of that in a way too, because notice that we're only interested if the groceries are still at the store or the toilet paper.
Oh, gosh.
How it got there is a whole other thing, and we don't really want to know the logistics, okay?
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So America has a tendency to create a false sense of security for the people, and that's just because of its characters in Cancer.
Mm.
And ultimately, America has to learn how to nurture itself, and I think that's what America represents in a lot of ways, is how do we figure out how to actually have equality instead of respect and disrespect, because that's people's version of equality right now, which is really not equality in any way.
Right.
It is literally a tyranny.
Hmm.
And the world needs a tyrant, and there are tyrants everywhere, especially in America.
Yeah.
So we also see Mercury in the eighth house. So eighth house is secrets. So America has secrets. And look at America's part of fortune here is
Hmm.
where the money comes in. And the secrets have been that America has used the dollar to destabilize other countries
Yeah.
and get them to make loans to the IMF that can never be paid back, which
Mm.
now is the manipulation of their economies, their politics, and everything else. And this is what's tied the dollar to every other country in the world. That's why, last year we heard we're going to move away from the dollar. Have you heard that recently?
No, not at all.
And that's because no one can move away from it. Everybody's tied to it
Mm.
because some, three-letter agencies have been making sure that was a thing for a really long time in our country.
And just the goal of being important to these other countries, being in control.
Control, also, what are we talking about? Resources, okay?
Hmm.
Money, okay? Trade. Notice how all those things are controlled,
Right.
okay? And politics, okay? If you look at what happened in Venezuela, holy shit, okay?
Yeah. Yeah,
We we
absolutely.
we do not want that to happen here, but we may be headed that way. I'm not sure, okay?
Right.
So, secrets,
Mm.
okay? Neurotic secrets. And what do they call it? Top secret. Okay. Right. So,
And all
you
so
know,
closely related to the sun and all of those other, it's just such a chunk of energy over there.
well, and Mercury is retrograde here.
Huh.
So it's internalized. It's an internalization of things. And, that can be, behind the scenes. You know, if you have Mercury retrograde, you may lose your keys all the time or stuff like that. But what else happens is you internalize and base everything off the past. And you have to overcome that when you have Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
So America, possibly through our three-letter agencies, uh, you know, sought to create security by, of course, destabilizing things. A guy that wrote a great book called A Diary of an Economic Hitman. I met him personally and listened to
Mm.
his story beyond the book. And literally in the book, he says that this is what he did for our government. He went
Huh.
in and destabilized countries through bad loans and created situations they could never pay back. And, it's kind of like using the debt against things. You're
Mm.
coming in saying this is going to be great for your country, it's going to help your country, but it really didn't do anything for your country. All it did is tied our government to the control of your country.
Hmm.
Okay. Or whatever other country was trying to control your country in the steel. What do we call the Cold War now? Because obviously we've been in war ever since. Okay,
The
World War
shadow
II.
war.
Right, right.
Yeah, it
It's
never ended.
I don't think it ever did
Yeah.
because because I think after World War II, they're like, we need these agencies to do these things
Right.
because we want to avoid this ever happening. And, I do wish some of the things that were created to stop that would go back to their original doctrines,
Mm.
especially the UN.
Yeah.
I really wish they would go back and examine why they began and what their original things are, because the perversion of everything in our world is really coming through the magnification of America. And America is trying to balance the world and create balanced structures. America is very ambitious. Saturn in the 10th house.
Mm.
Okay. And America has to go through a transformation of values. And this is my biggest problem with the world. Does capitalism fulfill us? Is my question to every American in the world.
Yeah.
Is capitalism your fulfillment? If it is, I will shut up. You don't need to listen to me no more. Okay. And if it made you happy, cool. But
Mm.
I haven't met anybody.
I feel
And
it feels like we've been trained to fall into that. I was in a technology conference years ago, and they talked about why each country was letting groups like Amazon and Google take over, including technology companies that were adversaries to their own. And for every country, it was different. For the US, it was convenience. We put convenience over security, over happiness, over economy, over everything, convenient. And we will
I,
sacrifice a lot to get overnight shipping.
you know why that is, right?
The dopamine hit that you get when you
I call it
your package,
validation.
yeah, makes
Hmm.
you feel.
Well, notice that seeking validation is human nature.
Mm.
And we don't really grow our own value until we have been betrayed, hurt, abandoned, victimized. And that's why in our 20s, of course, we're seeking that identity outside of us. But when we hit our late 30s, we start questioning why we're not fulfilled by what was promised to us, and this idea that if we worked, then we would be happy.
Hmm.
Or, if we live this whole life, then we retire and live our lives, right?
Yeah.
But the problem with that is that capitalism has nothing to do with nature.
Mm.
Capitalism is the investment with the expectation of return. Nature only can receive, like a fruit tree, and share what is received
Mm.
if it received those things. And so we were taught to live from emotional bankruptcy. And that's why America's neurotic. And this idea of being able to get things, this idea I can get it means I have value.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the culture of jewelry, watches, all the ridiculousness that people are spending. I don't know, 50,000, 100,000. Isn't that popular?
Yeah.
Um, you know, it's wild. It's wild that actual fulfillment is still being sold to us as a commodity
Mm.
that they don't possess.
Every commercial you see, if you buy this, you will be happy. It will fix something.
Right. Emotionally, America is erratic. Moon and Aquarius. We
Mm.
change how we feel quickly. Notice the mass consciousness is very erratic, especially if somebody's going to lose their freedom. Do we not jump on that? And their jail trial is our favorite thing to do since OJ. Okay.
I hope you haven't been watching the recent ones because that
I,
is that is hilarious.
it's, I mean, it's a clown show, it seems like all the time, every day. I just imagine those people wearing clown makeup, and I'd probably process it better.
Yeah. And they're both water signs too. So the moon, where the moon and the sun are, we have a lot of water.
Well, actually,
Oh,
Aquarius is
it's
an
air. Yes.
air, yes. And this is why the perception of freedom
Oh,
is what America was sold through a neurotic avenue, that if you spend your whole life to create security, then you can be fulfilled. And it's kind of like if someone shows up and loves you, then you can receive love too.
yeah. Then you'll be
And
fulfilled and whole. God.
happy, and everything's going to be great in your life.
Mm.
And, I wish that was true for people because it'd probably be easier, but it's just not the reality of life. So, America has to learn to communicate and embody that communication, to be really honest about it. And, we do have freedoms here, right? We also, those freedoms also aren't really understood. And I think if America understood that emotional freedom, being free inside to live from what you care about, your honesty, your understanding of yourself, all of those things, and being accepted that that is yours
Mm.
and celebrated. I think we could really, really build things, but we don't know how to work together yet.